Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be starting a new plastic model build on a 67 Pontiac GTO. This kit is not very well liked by model builders. They say parts don't fit correctly and just not a very well built kit. So we're going to open it up and we're going to check it out and get started on this build. Hopefully we can make it look okay. There's instructions, and they are available in several languages. The body, the frame, and the interior are all together when you open this up. There's the three separate pieces. Don't really see any issues with the molding. We do have some slag, I call it plastic, hang over there around the wheel well opening, but other than that, the lines look really good. Interior, the rear seat's already in. It's molded in as part of the interior. And the door panels are pretty detailed. And the frame, the bottom, pretty detailed too. There's a gas tank and cross members and floor pans. There are tires. That's some good wide tires. No white letters, just black walls. And there's our rear axle. Windshield and back glass, all in one piece. Here's some of our plastic parts that are on trees. These hoods were attached to the plastic tree. I went ahead and cut them off. Two hoods with this model. This is a high-rise hood, I call it. Got the big hood scoop, and there's your stock hood. I think this is what most model builders are talking about. You see the plastic hanging off of these molds. And there's the two posts for the front wheels to hold them on. No metal axle on the front. Here's the chrome. I went ahead and cut the front grille and bumper and the front and the back bumper off because I want to do some test fitting on that just to see how bad a fit we have. Well, that's not the best fit up around the top of the headlights. Kind of looks like the grille and headlights are a different shape on the top right here. If we push down on the fender, that closes that gap up pretty well. I think what we need to do is cut down the center of this cross member of it, file it down a little where it will go up in the grille further, and then that will help with the gap here at the top of the fenders. The back bumper, yeah, it's a little, not quite wide enough, it doesn't look like. We just had to split the difference on it. I think with a little sanding, I think that hood would work okay. Don't see any real big issues there. So I'm going to get started. Feel like I'm going to be using a file quite a bit on these parts. If you watch my videos, you know that I leave the parts on the trees when I paint them with a brush. So we got some cleaning up to do around these edges before we put some paint on. There's an example of the slag at the bottom of those two seats. That's better. That's about the most trimming and sanding I've had to do on parts before I painted them. Okay, we've got this hood in a pretty good shape. Using a file to straighten up the edges, make it fit better. And before we do any painting, we will sand it, but that's not too bad right there. So we're ready to put some paint on, and like most models, they give you paint suggestions A through G. Not a lot of parts to paint with a brush. Been working on them. Engine block and heads and the front cover, painted those red. Transmission oil pan, silver. Radiator, painted it black, and then I painted the silver top on it just to make it stand out a little more. Steering wheel, just put a little bit of blue and silver on it. And there's the two front buckets. And I painted the top of the frame. I stopped right here because you won't see any of this back in here. Still need to do the bottom of the frame. So that leaves the body and the interior. Now, because I painted the front seats black, I'll be painting the back seat black. But we're going to spray this interior the same as the body color, which will be a blue. And there's a color that we picked out. It's called a deep blue. While the instruction sheet doesn't tell you any kind of colors for the dash, we look on the box and it's red, and insert in the console is also red. And there's a dash. A little more touching up to do on it, but we got one coat of red on it. Frame rails, I'm going to paint them a flat black. That's a semi-gloss that I put on the rest of it, just as a contrast between the semi-gloss that I've already put on. And I'll paint the gas tank a silver. I'm going to use these stock wheels, but I'm going to attempt to paint the part in between the spokes a flat black. 3 of the wheels painted, and I'm just using the pick. Okay, now once that black paint dries, I'll take a Q-tip and brush off the spokes of the wheels just to remove any black that I got on those. I think that'll give it a better look on the wheels. Everything that we're going to paint with the brush has been painted. And our frame looks nice with the flat black on the frame rails and then the semi-gloss on the rest of it. Gas tank painted. So I think we're going to start putting some things together. We can put the engine together. We can do the tires and wheels also. And then we need to do some spray painting. I did get the blackout screen in the grill. Notice the GTO letters that I painted silver. Tires and wheels are mounted. We have the steering column in the dash and the headrest on the seats. Motors in the chassis. Rear tires and wheels, I have a metal axle, so I have them on. The front tires, I have this little plastic pin, goes through the back of the wheel and pushes into that hole right there, and the tire snaps on the back of the wheel. And you don't have to glue it, it's tight enough, so no glue required there. Alright, we got the pin pushed in and our wheels spinning freely. So now we just take the tire and the front wheel and just push it on. I've noticed a problem that we have. Look at those exhausts. I think that's a little low. And this one is actually hitting the tire. So we need to get that pushed up. And this one too. May take a heat gun and just heat those up and see if I can bend them in position. Definitely can't leave them like that. Alright. Wasn't as complicated as I thought it would be. I was able just to took these pliers, and I was able to bend them right in here and back in here. And we're away from the tire now on each side. And about the right level. So there's a problem solved. What can we do to make this grill fit better? You can see there when you make this side fit where it looks good, you see what the other side looks like. So I'm going to do some filing on this, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. See if we can make some improvements. Here's my file kit that I'm going to use. This is all different types of files, different shapes, round, triangular. This one is kind of got a bevel shape on one side and flat on the other side. I'm using a flat side of this file. I'm going to try the heat gun. If you're not careful, this plastic will get too hot. But what I'm going to do is just heat this slightly and push up on the center there. I think that'll give us a pretty good fit. Alright, now I'm going to take the grill, put it in while this is still warm. See our gap here over the headlights narrowed down. Well, I'm going to stop there. Get some sandpaper and we'll sand this where we've been filing. But I think that's going to work. While I'm sanding this, I'm going to also sand the edges of the hood just to smooth them up some and make it slightly smaller from side to side, especially here in the front because it's such a tight fit. Doing some spray painting on the body and the interior. This is down in my workshop. I've had the furnace on, heated the room up to about 65 degrees. Here I'm painting the underneath, just a light coat on it, and then we'll give it about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll put another coat. Just a second coat on underneath the hood and underneath the body. Now we've flipped it over, painting the top side. Just a light coat for the first time through. Give it about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back with a second coat. Been working on the interior. window cranks and door handles painted. Really all we need to do to the interior is the seats, the console, gear shift, and the dash. We'll get those put in. Well, in looking at these front seats, they're showing seat belts just like in the rear seats. And if you look at the rear seat, they don't show any seat belts. It's actually quite opposite. We have seat belts in the rear that are molded into the seat, but we don't have any in the front. So I guess the driver and the passenger will not be wearing seat belts. The interior ready to go in. You touch up this edge here just using a chrome pen. We've done a little trimming right here, so touch that up. And the other side. Done both bumpers. The back one you can see right at the very bottom where it was attached. This is a chrome pen that I use. It's a ZR. I guess that's the way you pronounce it. Or Zayer. Anyway, works pretty good. It's got a small tip, which is what I was using. And it has a larger tip. That shows you the different size tips. Alright, our paint's cured, so we're going to finish up this model. I think the first thing I'm going to do this morning is put them black pinstripe on the body. So let's get started with that. We'll be putting on this black pinstripe. Runs down the length of the car. And I have my first piece cut in the warm water. A really thin stripe. I think we're about to get it. Alright, I think that'll work. And there's the other side. Our next step is a front bumper and the rear tail light lenses. There's the tail lights. Something a little different. I went with the black pinstripe and the 3-color stripe at the bottom. We have the interior put in and glass. And here's the finished 67 GTO. Next build, 1950 Chevy pickup truck. So be looking for that one. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, how about giving us a like and subscribing to our channel? Thanks.